Welcome, friend, to Dream Bites, a podcast where the magic of storytelling meets the power of imagination. Each episode is a warm invitation to explore a world unlike any other, carefully crafted to transport you to new realms of wonder. So, find a cozy spot, settle in, and let the friendly voice of our narrator be your guide on this exciting adventure. And now, dear listener, it's time to embark on today's delightful story.
Lost Verses. Chapter 1. The Unearthed Manuscript. In the heart of Reykjavik, nestled between cobblestone streets and colourful houses, loomed an ancient church. Its weathered stone walls, encrusted with lichen and moss, whispered of centuries past. The air around the structure seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly energy, as if the very essence of the city's history had seeped into the earth and stone. Ingrid approached the entrance, her heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. As an esteemed Icelandic poet, she had always been drawn to the power of words and the enigmas of her cultural heritage. But today, standing before this time-worn sanctuary, she felt the weight of an entirely new mystery pressing upon her. Inside the church, the air was thick with the scent of aged parchment, dust, and the faint, lingering aroma of incense. Shafts of light filtered through the stained glass windows, casting a kaleidoscope of muted colours across the stone floor. Ingrid's footsteps echoed in the cavernous space as she made her way to a secluded alcove where a tattered tome lay waiting, its presence almost palpable. With trembling hands, she opened the cover, revealing pages filled with verses in an elegant, archaic script. As her eyes scanned the words, Ingrid's breath caught in her throat. The poems spoke of Einar the Elusive, a legendary bard long thought to be a mere figment of folklore. But these verses suggested otherwise, alluding to a hidden treasure of immense historical significance. If true, this discovery had the potential to rewrite the very fabric of Iceland's cultural tapestry. Ingrid's mind reeled with the implications, a maelstrom of excitement and disbelief churning within her. She knew she had stumbled upon something extraordinary, a literary puzzle that demanded to be solved. But as she delved deeper into the cryptic lines, a creeping realization took hold. She could not unravel this mystery alone. Seeking counsel, Ingrid arranged to meet with Magnus, an enigmatic antiquarian renowned for his expertise in Icelandic lore and his uncanny ability to procure rare artifacts. In a dimly lit cafe, they faced each other, the air charged with a palpable tension. Magnus leaned back in his chair, his weathered features etched with intrigue and a hint of caution. "I've been on the trail of that manuscript for decades," he confided, his voice low and gravelly. "Whispers claim it holds the key to Einar's greatest secret." Ingrid met his gaze, her eyes narrowing with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. "And what secret might that be?" A wry smile tugged at the corners of Magnus's mouth. "One that could reshape our understanding of Iceland's past, if we dare to uncover it. But the path to deciphering Einar's verses will be fraught with challenges. It will require a unique blend of skills, your poetic insight and my knowledge of our nation's hidden history." Ingrid hesitated, weighing the magnitude of the task before her. Magnus's reputation preceded him, a man as brilliant as he was controversial, yet the allure of the truth proved irresistible. With a resolute nod, she sealed their alliance, determined to plumb the depths of Einar's enigmatic legacy. As they pored over the manuscript, the boundaries between past and present began to blur. Flashbacks of Einar's life in the early 20th century wove themselves into the fabric of their investigation, offering tantalizing glimpses into a Reykjavik caught in the throes of a cultural renaissance. Einar's poems, it seemed, were more than mere artistic expressions. They were repositories of secrets and forgotten truths. Ingrid and Magnus worked relentlessly, piecing together cryptic clues and uncovering hidden layers within the text. Each revelation drew them deeper into Einar's world, a labyrinth of verses that challenged their wits and tested their resolve. But as they delved further, an unsettling sensation began to take root, the prickling awareness of unseen eyes watching their every move. Ingrid couldn't shake the feeling that their pursuit of the truth had not gone unnoticed, that forces in the shadows were conspiring to keep Einar's secrets buried. With each step forward, the stakes grew higher, the dangers more palpable. Yet Ingrid knew there was no turning back. The siren call of the truth, of unravelling the enigma that had haunted Iceland for generations, propelled her onward. As she and Magnus ventured into the heart of Einar's literary labyrinth, they could only hope that their combined knowledge and tenacity would light the way to a revelation that had the power to reshape history itself. Chapter 2. Guardians of the Hidden Truth. As Ingrid and Magnus delved deeper into the manuscript's cryptic verses, the air in Magnus's dimly lit study grew heavy with anticipation. The musty scent of ancient parchment mingled with the faint aroma of Magnus's pipe tobacco, creating an atmosphere that seemed to blur the lines between past and present. Ingrid's heart raced as she deciphered the final lines of a particularly enigmatic stanza. "Magnus," she whispered, her voice trembling with a mix of excitement and trepidation. "I think I've found it. The location of Einar's hidden chamber." Magnus leaned in, his icy blue eyes scanning the verse. A slow smile spread across his weathered face, but it was tinged with unease. "Beneath the city's oldest church," he mused. "It seems Einar has left us a trail of breadcrumbs, but I fear we may not be the only ones following it." Ingrid looked up, her brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" "Think about it," Magnus said, his voice low and urgent. "The manuscript, the clues, the whispers of a hidden truth. We can't be the only ones who have caught the scent. There are those who would stop at nothing to keep Einar's secrets buried." A chill ran down Ingrid's spine as she considered Magnus's words. She thought back to the strange figure she had glimpsed lurking in the shadows near the ancient church, the unsettling feeling of being watched as they pored over the manuscript. Could it be that their pursuit of the truth had already attracted dangerous attention? Despite the growing sense of unease, Ingrid and Magnus pressed on. They navigated the narrow, winding streets of Reykjavik, their footsteps echoing on the cobblestones. Ingrid couldn't shake the sensation of eyes boring into her back, of whispers carried on the chill Icelandic wind. As they approached the church, Magnus held up a hand, his eyes scanning the surroundings. "We're not alone," he murmured, his voice taut with tension. Ingrid followed his gaze, her heart pounding as she caught sight of a hooded figure slipping into the shadows of a nearby alley. The figure's movements were too purposeful, too calculated to be a mere passerby. Inside the church, the air was thick with the weight of centuries. Ingrid and Magnus moved cautiously, their senses heightened, alert for any sign of trouble. As they searched for the symbol that would reveal the entrance to Einar's chamber, Ingrid couldn't help but feel a growing sense of dread. Their fingers brushed against a weathered carving, and a hidden door swung open, revealing a staircase that descended into darkness. With trembling hands, Ingrid lit a torch, its flickering light casting eerie shadows on the damp stone walls. Step by step they descended, the air growing colder, the silence broken only by the sound of their own ragged breaths. As they reached the chamber, the true extent of their peril became clear. 3 hooded figures emerged from the shadows, their faces obscured, their intentions unmistakable. "You have meddled in matters beyond your understanding," one of them hissed, his voice cold and unyielding. "The secrets of Einar the Elusive are not meant for the world to know." Magnus stepped forward, his stance defiant. "And what gives you the right to decide that?" The figures advanced, their movements menacing. In that moment, Ingrid realized the true nature of the choice before her: to unveil a truth that could rewrite history, or to ensure the safety of the man who had become more than just an ally. As the guardians of the hidden truth closed in, Ingrid and Magnus stood back to back, ready to face whatever lay ahead. They had come too far to turn back now, the weight of Einar's secrets urging them onward into the unknown. Chapter 3. Verses of Preservation and Liberation. Time seemed to freeze as the blade sliced through the musty air of the hidden chamber. Ingrid's heart pounded in her chest, the weight of her decision bearing down upon her like the ancient stone walls that surrounded them. In that moment, the gravity of the truth they had uncovered crystallized in her mind. The secrets within Einar's manuscript held the power to reshape Iceland's understanding of its cultural heritage. But at what cost? With a deft twist of her body, Ingrid evaded the deadly strike, her fingers closing around the ancient tome. She clutched it to her chest as Magnus grappled with their assailants, his movements fluid and precise, belying the desperation of their situation. "Go!" he shouted, his voice strained with exertion. "I'll hold them off!" Ingrid hesitated, torn between the desire to stand with Magnus and the knowledge that the secrets she carried were too important to risk. She met his gaze, a silent understanding passing between them. In that moment, she saw beyond the enigmatic antiquarian, glimpsing the depths of his sacrifice. With a nod of gratitude and a silent promise to honor his courage, she turned and fled, her footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways. She emerged from the church into the cool Reykjavik night, her lungs burning and her mind reeling. The tome felt heavy in her hands, its pages filled with the weight of history and the power to reshape it. As she melted into the shadows of the city, Ingrid knew that her journey was far from over. In the days that followed, Ingrid pored over the ancient text, her poet's heart deciphering the cryptic verses that held Einar's deepest secrets. With each revelation, the magnitude of her discovery grew clearer. The manuscript spoke of a cultural renaissance lost to time, of a society on the brink of transformation, and of the role Einar played in preserving its essence. As she wrestled with the implications of the truth, a knock at her door startled her from her thoughts. Magnus stood on her threshold, his face battered but his eyes alight with a newfound purpose. Over a bottle of Brennivin, he revealed his own tangled history with the manuscript and the shadowy figures who sought to keep it hidden. "My father," he began, his voice raw with emotion. "He was one of them, a guardian of Einar's legacy. He died trying to protect these secrets, to keep them from those who would exploit them for their own gain." Ingrid listened, her heart aching for the man who had sacrificed so much. In that moment she saw Magnus anew, not just as an ally, but as a kindred spirit, bound by the weight of the past. "What do we do now?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Magnus met her gaze, his eyes burning with determination. "We finish what we started. We honor Einar's legacy, and we share the truth with those who will protect it." In the weeks that followed, Ingrid worked tirelessly, weaving Einar's secrets into her own verses. She crafted a tapestry of words that would preserve the essence of his legacy, embedding the truth within metaphors and allusions that only the initiated would understand. It was a labor of love, a tribute to the man who had sacrificed everything to safeguard his people's heritage. When her new collection was finally published, Ingrid knew that she had fulfilled her purpose. The verses carried Einar's truth into the future, a whisper of a forgotten past that would inspire generations to come. As she stood on the windswept cliffs overlooking Reykjavik, Ingrid felt a sense of peace settle over her. The journey had been perilous, but in the end she had found a way to honor the past while protecting the present. The power of poetry, to both conceal and reveal, had been her salvation. In the distance, the ancient church stood silhouetted against the midnight sun, its stones guarding the secrets that had been entrusted to them. And though Magnus had disappeared into the mists of Reykjavik, Ingrid knew that his presence would linger in the verses she had written, a testament to the unbreakable bond they had forged in the crucible of Einar's legacy. As the wind carried the echoes of a long-forgotten song, Ingrid smiled, knowing that the truth would endure, hidden in plain sight, waiting for those with the wisdom and courage to uncover it once more.
And there you have it, dear listener. Another enchanting journey brought to life by the magic of storytelling. We hope that this tale has sparked your imagination and left you with a sense of wonder. As we close this chapter, remember that there's always another story waiting to be discovered. So keep your sense of curiosity alive and join us again for the next episode of Dream Bites. Until then, may your own adventures be filled with the same excitement and delight as the ones we've shared here. And always remember, the power of imagination knows no bounds. Thank you for being a part of the Dream Bites story. See you next time.
Close your eyes, let your mind ignite. The universe of stories shining bright. Imagination stage a canvas to create.